guys, I'm Chantal with Growing Up Without Borders. If you are new to our channel, I would like to welcome you. Today isn't like our typical videos. Usually we do videos on travel and our adventures around the world. However, along with the adventures that we have had so many moments that are coincidences or maybe serendipity moments or what you would call synchronicity moments. And I thought it'd be really fun to share that with you guys. So before I get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel, share it, and then comment down below and let me know if you've had moments like this in your life, because it's just like been crazy for us and it keeps happening over and over and over again. And it's just really funny. So I decided to write them all down, make a video and share them with you. So I hope you enjoy it. I came up with like 12. So here we go. So the very first one goes way back when. It was, I think, in 2000, I want to say like 12 maybe, or 11, around that time. We went on a cruise and we met this really nice guy named Rob. And he was from the United States, but also living part of the year in Israel or going back and forth, as well as Colombia. And he's like, you know what, you guys, you really need to go check out Colombia, because Colombia, it's amazing, and like the cost of living. And he was explaining everything to us. And along with what he was explaining, he was saying there's this really cute little lady. She's called like the Blessing Lady, and every time he sees her on the street, she like blesses you and she like prays over you and whatever. So like he told us a story just like that. Then fast forward to 2016, we were in Colombia and we were on a downtown street, and this little lady came up to us and she was selling gum. So we bought gum off of her, and after she gave us the gum and we did the exchange, she started blessing us like, que Dios te bendice, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And we were like, could this be the same lady that we heard about like in all of Medellin? Like, is this possible? So we asked her, we're like, hey man, do you know our friend Rob? And then she was like, we were trying to speak Spanish, you know, with her or whatever. And we brought his picture up on Facebook, and she was like, oh, sí, na, na, na. She knew him. And we were like, that is so funny. So we messaged Rob and took a picture with this little lady, and it was just really funny. Just one of those moments. So that was the first one. The second one was, we were in Malawi, in Africa, and we were in Lake Malawi, staying in this really nice area in Katabe, and we met a really nice couple from the Netherlands that were traveling, but we didn't really get a chance to connect with them, like just briefly. They were traveling in this really cool 4x4 with a tent that goes up above all throughout Africa, right? So fast forward a few days later, we crossed the Malawi-Mozambique border, and we had all these delays. If you haven't seen the video about it, it's really funny, because basically we were getting delayed by these corrupt border officers, if you will. And as the day kind of continued and night came down, we got picked up by this big old burly South African guy who was living in Mozambique. And long story short, we ended up staying at his campsite instead of going to the hotel we were supposed to go to. And we checked in. It was really late because we had thing after thing. Like, again, watch the video. It was just really funny. And we check in and we see this camper van with the tent up above, you know, like the Jeep kind of truck. And we're like, is it possible that it's them? We're like, no, that'd be really funny, because we're talking about like 10 hours away, like really far away. It wasn't like it's like, you know, an hour away or something. So the next morning we wake up and they were like, we heard you guys, and we heard the kids, and it was like, you know, late, and we were like, is it possible that that's that same family? So they were thinking the same thing. It was just one of those funny moments. So we exchanged information and so on and so forth. So another moment like that. That was number 2. So number 3 is, we were staying at a really nice campsite in between South Africa and Lesotho. I think it was on the South African side. Yes, it was. And it was amazing. And we met this really nice young couple that were traveling, and they were from an hour away from where we live in Switzerland. And I thought that was just really, you know, kind of cool and still really neat, right? So that was fun. Then the following day, we didn't see them because they got up early and left and whatever. And we started driving, and we decided to stop in a little town called Clarens, which is like Clarence in English. And there's a Clarens in Switzerland as well. So that we thought was kind of cool, because the guy was in Switzerland and then brought it back, and he made this little village that is almost like a little Swiss village in the middle of South Africa. Go figure. But we decided to stop there for lunch. And so we pulled up and we sat at the restaurant. And then next thing you know, we turn around and there they are. And we're like, this is so funny. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's cute, funny, coincidence. It was only an hour away. So like, whatever, that can happen. But then what happened is like fast forward a couple weeks or maybe like 10 days later or something. So we were in like near Lesotho, right? And then if you go all the way down towards Jeffreys Bay, it's pretty far away. We were in the Billabong store. And all of a sudden, they came up to us and they're like, hey! We're like, what are you guys doing here? It was just like really, really funny. So that was, again, another moment where you just like crisscross paths. It could have been like 2 minutes off and we wouldn't have seen each other, right? So then, let's see. The next one, number 4 was, oh yes, okay. So we were in Bolivia. And we were in the middle of the jungle, like 2 hours from La Paz. And we were up in this like really high up mountain village, and we met this guy from the United States who owned a coffee farm in Colombia, and we just started talking because it was really nice to speak English and meet this guy. He was a nice guy, whatever. So then we left and stayed at where we were staying and whatever. Then we got stuck in La Paz because we actually got really sick, so we were stuck in La Paz for like a week. We just didn't move, and we were walking down the street in this like busy street, and all of a sudden this guy was like right behind us. He was like, hey guys, and it was him again. And we were like, that is so crazy. It's always like these moments, like if you would have just not been on the same street or the right time, whatever. So we ended up having a nice lunch with him and just chit-chatting and whatever. Never heard of him or seen him since, but I thought it was a really cool moment. So then again, the same thing happened when we were visiting Zanzibar, which is part of Tanzania. We were on the island. We met these really cute little, I don't call them little, they were like teenagers from Korea. And so whatever, we talked and said hey and whatever. And then a week later, we're like in Dar es Salaam, which is like this huge city. And there they were in the same store we were. And we're like, this is so funny. So just again, another moment. Let's see, number 6. Oh, this is really cool. So we were in Thailand. And we were on this like really nice chillax kind of beach area, just enjoying some drinks. The kids started playing with these other kids, and we started talking to the parents, and we hung out all afternoon and had a blast. It was really nice. And then what happened is we went back home, and one of our good friends on Facebook messages us and is like, how do you know my friends? And the same family. And we're like, we met them in Thailand. And it was just like small world, right? So that was just another one of those moments. Then number 7, this one is freaky. So we were in Spain, and this is just weird, almost too much of a coincidence. Tyler was lying on the couch reading through his emails or whatever, and I started connecting with this lady on Facebook Messenger. And her name is Bihan. She runs a YouTube website of them traveling around their family, and it's Sailing Totem. And so I was asking her, like, how do you get through the different Pacific islands? How do you do it, blah, 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 what's the easiest way? So we're having this conversation, whatever. And then Tyler sends me an email about the same family. And so when he sent it to me, I started reading, and I'm like, I'm talking to that lady at the same time. And then the craziest, like that's already kind of like weird, right? The crazy thing is on TV, we start watching this like report on, I don't know if it was like whatever news station, some kind of documentary kind of thing about the same family. I'm like, are you kidding me? I am talking to her, he's emailing me, and she's on TV. I'm like, this is too much. Like, what is going on? So it was just like weird. So that happened. And then what else? Okay, so number 8, again, small world. Most of these are like small world kind of connections, right? So we're in Nicaragua. We go to have like a drink at some like little local beach thing. And what drew our attention was they had this big, huge Canadian flag. We're like, oh, we got to go there, being Canadians, So we go in, we got talking with the owners, and one of the business partners is best friends with Tyler's cousin's boyfriend. We're like, such a small world, like how is that possible? Then fast forward a few weeks later, we were there, I think it was like karaoke night or something like that, and this like big burly kind of South African but Greek man was there, and we started talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, I'm from Greece, but I live in Australia, with his accent and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's funny, I know like 3 people from Australia. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm from Melbourne. And I'm like, oh yeah, we have a friend, her name's Georgia. We start talking like that. And I won't say the names, just because, but he's like, I know her. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, that's just not possible. He goes, no, I know her and I dated her. And I'm like, that's crazy. So I'm like, we have to call her on Facebook because I don't believe this guy, right? Don't believe him for a second. So we call her on Facebook and she's like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. So again, just a crazy, crazy moment, right? So there you go. That would have been number 9. Then this story goes like this. So we were talking, this is again in Nicaragua, Tyler's talking with a guy from Estonia on FaceTime. So they're doing like a video call. And we were talking about like when you're deficient in vitamin D, you don't have enough sun. And that happens in a lot of northern countries like Estonia and blah, 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 blah. And he said if you put champignons, like mushrooms, in front of a window, it absorbs the sun and the vitamin D, and then when you eat it, apparently you get all the nutrients and everything you need. And he kept saying the word champignons. So I was like, well, what kind of champignons? Because for me, speaking French, I'm like, champignon means mushroom. So I was like, what kind of mushroom? And he's like, champignon. I'm like, no, but what kind of mushroom? Like, what kind of mushroom does that or whatever? So he's like, it's a champignon. I'm like, I didn't even know that there was a mushroom called champignon. So whatever, one thing leads to another. They keep talking. I go inside, and now I'm doing whatever inside the house. And on my phone, like when people comment on YouTube, I get little notifications, right? Because I have my notifications on. And I see this one notification that comes in, and it says, there are several types of mushrooms. There's the champignon mushroom and the this and that. And it was someone commenting on a video we did in Poland about mushrooms. And the first thing I thought was like, this guy is commenting on our YouTube video about the mushroom. Like, what? This is weird. So I look outside and I'm like, is he still on the phone with the guy? And he was. And I'm like, that is just weird. You know, the two people having the same conversation about mushrooms at the same time. So it's just really funny, you know. So anyway, that was just one of those moments. This leads to number 10. So again, in Nicaragua. So these are all very recent ones. Tyler decided to go take Spanish classes. So he's taking his Spanish classes with this guy in town, and he mentions, yeah, you know, we're running a YouTube channel, and we're going to travel around the world with our family and maybe get to all the countries and whatever, saying stuff like that. And the guy's like, oh, I know this other family, and they're also traveling around the world, and they stayed here. And he's like, really? What's his name? And so he said his name, and Tyler's like, oh my gosh, this guy just interviewed my wife like a few weeks ago. And so literally before we went to Nicaragua, so like maybe it was like end of the summer, around that time, I did like a whole, they did like a, I don't know what you call it. Like it was like first of all, I did a podcast with him or an interview for YouTube, but then he did this thing with all the different people that he interviewed, and we were all online all at the same time. But this same guy that did this with me stayed at the same guy's house in Nicaragua where Tyler was taking the Spanish classes. And I was like, this is crazy. So of course we called him and we're like, hey man, you know the same people, you know, one of those stories. So it's really, really funny. So the last one was we were in El Salvador, and we went on the walking tour. Those are always amazing to do. And during the walking tour, we met this really nice guy from Brazil. And we got talking to him, and, you know, just normal conversation, whatever. And then we all left. We all did our own thing. And, you know, if you're in San Salvador, it's a big city, like really, really big. And we were in the center, city center. And then at the end of the day, where we were staying, we decided to go to the grocery store, get some groceries and stuff. So while we were in the grocery store, this same guy was there again. I was like, that is nuts. So then we got talking to him, and he gave us the name of a really nice guy who does tours, which we've booked with, thanks to his recommendation. And it was just really funny because had we not seen him in the grocery store from the morning, like from the afternoon, we wouldn't have booked this tour. And then when we booked the tour guide, not only was he amazing, but he came up with a song that he created and he made up called Go With The Flow. And it was just so funny because it's like, go with the flow and everything's going to be all right and everything will kind of work out. So
go with the flow. If you go with the flow. If you go with the flow. If you're going with the flow, it's gonna be so right. If you go with the flow, you're gonna be so fine. Yeah, that's it, come on everybody.
That's just kind of how our life has been in the last little while. Like we just kind of go, and then one thing leads to the other, or you meet this person, you meet that person, and things just kind of line up, and it's just been really funny. So right after filming these clips, we decided to go to the beach And this is what happened. This is just to add to the coincidence. So I literally just filmed the coincidence video this afternoon. Last night at midnight, I'm watching these guys on YouTube about Xcaret Park, which is one of the theme parks here in Mexico. And today, right now, like literally after I make the video, I bump into them on the beach. So this is Jocelyn, and this is Yannick.
Hi.
They run a channel called, I don't even know what your channel is.
Joss and Yannick.
Joss and Yannick.
Oh, there you go, Jocelyn, Yannick. And it's just so cool. So another, what do you call it?
Destiny.
It's Destiny. Serendipity moment. So very cool. Nice to meet you guys. Go
Nice
check
to
out their
meet you
YouTube. And there you go. I thought I would share that with you guys, and please let me know if you've had experiences like this. I'm sure everyone has, and it's always really fun to share, and let me know, if that happened to you, a coincident moment, or whatever you want to call it, like a God wink, whatever you call those. So let us know, and as always, please subscribe to our channel. Make sure you share it with your friends, like it, give us a big thumbs up, and we will see you next time. Bye!